The most expensive assumption that we can make at work is that people are showing up to work with no issues, no concerns, nothing outside of the work they do on the daily. That is a very, very expensive assumption. And the reason for that is because number one, y'all, there is no one that is showing up to work with only work unless they work for Lumen Industries. And if you missed that, this is about severance. Your brain is severed. Anyways, I'm talking about that. We are talking about, you're going to take me down a rabbit hole. No, we are talking about kindness today. I think that it's so important. There's so much going on, and we are not able to keep our personal lives from affecting our professional lives. If if you're having a stressful time at home with loved ones, if there are struggles that are happening at home, it is going to affect how you show up at work. And if we know that, then we should treat people with kindness, treat people with grace, because life can turn on a dime. And you may be wondering, well, what does this have to do with workplace value? And what does this have to do with employee engagement? Since that's typically what I speak about. Well, these assumptions, they affect how we conduct performance reviews. They affect how we approach teamwork, how we approach promotions, how we approach the need to increase engagement when we assume that what we see is all there is and that kindness isn't needed. You know, I think about a story that my mom, she used to share it all the time. She probably occasionally shares it, where she was driving. This is like years ago, maybe back in the 80s. Excuse me, where she got cut off. She was driving in the car and she got cut off by another car. And she was mad, y'all. She was mad. And so she was like, well, I'm going to follow the car. Now, note, following cars back then is not the same as following cars now. So I'm not recommending anyone do this. Don't do it. But she was really mad. So she followed the car, and she followed the car into the hospital parking lot, and words were exchanged. And the person who had cut her off, and they were driving, a little bit erratically, they said that, they were rushing and they were trying to get out the car rushing. My mom wanted to have a true conversation, but they said that they were trying to get to their loved one's bedside because their loved one was basically knocking at death's door. And no, this doesn't excuse any bad behavior or any inappropriate behavior or rudeness, but it can explain it. And it can just shed a little bit of light on what do we have the opportunity to control. Can we control how we react? Can we control how we approach a conversation? Can we enter conversations without the assumption that everything is going perfectly fine? And that's not to assume the exact opposite, that everything is falling apart, but just approaching it with kindness and with grace. And kindness, a lot of times when we think about kindness, we think that kindness means we can't be direct, and kindness means that we can't be honest, and kindness means that we can't ask questions and we can't still expect someone to do their job. But that kindness is inclusive of all of those things. You can still be direct, you can still be honest, you can still ask someone to get the job done. But delivering that message with kindness is everything. It's everything. Kindness, in this case, when we're talking about in the workplace, it is about understanding where someone is coming from and maybe making adjustments as needed. And doing those types of things, that is how we increase engagement. That is how we help people to understand that they have purpose and they have meaning, because the purpose and the meaning isn't tied to just the position. It goes much further than that. But it takes communicating that for that to be known. Y'all, that is all that I have for today. I know that this one was short and the one last week was short. Next week we will get back to our normal length of time, which is about 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20, where we talk a little bit more about workplace value and employee engagement. But I really just wanted to jump on here and just share something really briefly with you all. I hope that you all are having a great week, or that you will have a great week. And remember to stay adding value. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.